This is a guide to debugging your projects. It's not a guide to specific techniques for debugging processing or Arduino. It's a guide to the basic ideas and goals of debugging. I'd love to tell you that having to find and fix your own errors is a phase, that debugging is something only novices have to do, but I'd be lying. Even the pros spend a lot of time figuring out what's wrong and then fixing it. To fix bugs, first you have to understand what they are. A bug is not just an error in your project. An error is something you can fix. Bugs are different. When you have a bug, you have two problems: an error in your program and a gap in your understanding. You can't fix what you don't understand, because a bug entails a gap between your assumptions about your project and the project itself. The most important part of debugging is updating your assumptions. What follows is some brief advice for closing that gap. This guide is in 4 parts. Part 1, preparation for debugging. Part 2, looking for the bug without changing anything. Part 3, looking for the bug by changing things. And Part 4, defensive driving, which is about ways of avoiding bugs in the first place. Let's get started. Debugging isn't the process of fixing your project. It's the process of understanding your project well enough that you can fix it. By the time you've realized you have a bug, you're usually tired, anxious, and cranky. The worst possible mindset for learning. Take a deep breath, literally and metaphorically. Get up and walk around, have an unrelated conversation, maybe even go home and go to sleep. You will debug faster and more effectively if you're willing to slow down and think than if you're pushing to speed up. At best, a rush job will merely take longer. At worst, you'll create new bugs while you're impatiently attacking the existing ones. Whatever you do, don't go backwards. When something isn't working, it's tempting to immediately start altering or removing parts of your project just to see if anything changes. And sometimes, when you do this, and we've all done it, you'll find that the actual bug is minor, but the damage you've done while changing your code or unplugging your components is major. When you're tracking down a bug, make sure you can restore your project to the state it was in before you started. Save a copy of your code, take a picture of your installation, diagram the connections between the parts. Having a bug is bad enough. Damaging your project while trying to fix it is much worse. Asking for help can seem like a solution of last resort. After all, it's your project. However, getting ready to ask for help can be a great first step. When you're trying to understand your bug, think of someone who understands the kind of work you're doing, and write them a message in as much detail as they need to understand your problem, explaining what you think should happen and what's happening instead. Often, you won't need to send this message. Just having to describe your project and your bug is enough for you to figure out what's wrong on your own. And of course, if you do end up asking for help, this is the message you'll want to send. Writing it first just gives you a head start.